Although chances to experience such grove-making progressions are rare, I have organized this setup on forest ground to demonstrate what could be done in just one Kapoker's turn, by having an ailanthus in the right place, I mean in the right sprout. Given the essential structures, say the log patches, given at least one ailanthus in a convenient sprout on one of those patches, and given maybe the effectiveness of some loaded pine implementations, you could have all what follows in just one Kapoker's turn. Here, as an example of that, I use a Cartouche cypress, precisely a sequoia flower cypress on UI, to produce immediately one pine grove on UT. Through this grove, I gain an ailanthus treetop, which I used right away to transform whatever sprout from log patch PP, for instance TT, into an ailanthus tree, which allows me to transform that patch into a one pine grove on PP, killing plague calamity in the process. And this already created loaded pine PP can be unloaded right now by performing a sequoia cedar rim PA, which produces a decisive sprout on PA. Meanwhile, the new gain ailanthus treetop of PP grove is very useful for obtaining an ailanthus tree from what else sprout of one log patch UU, making right away a one pine grove of it. Obtaining again an ailanthus treetop, we put it right out on sprout PA to form an ailanthus tree over there. In the same way as before, we produce a baobab cedar rim UU out of this same loaded pine, making a sprout out of log LU. And that means we have at northeast corner a wonderful two log patch, with pollute calamity precisely on IK log. By converting this two log patch into a two pine grove, pollute is eliminated from forest ground. The whole grove-making progression in just one Kapoker's turn is possible, thanks to the functional properties of three elements which can be operational at the same turn. Those elements are loaded pines, one or more just gained ailanthus treetops, and log patches with one or more ailanthus among the sprouts. Because a loaded pine can be unloaded on the same turn in which its grove was produced, because a recently gained ailanthus treetop on that very turn can be put right away during this turn on whatever sprout that stands in forest ground, and because a log patch having at least an ailanthus in its structure can be automatically, according to Kapoker's interests, and also during that very turn, be transformed into a grove. And such procedures can be repeated time and again, all the way through the same present turn, as long as the actual circumstances on forest ground will permit to do so, and of course as long as such actions reflect Kapoker's tactical or strategical proposals. Now let's develop another example of a row of forest achievements in just one Kapoker's turn by drawing one cartouche transformer. Say, a rim or ray may be of course a maze combination of both. Needless to say that the precise configuration of forest ground that makes such a building up possible is already present, partially or even totally, before this particular turn comes up. And so it is presupposed that excess would react, putting calamities into work long before letting those structures grow in such remarkable quantities. Kapoker's turn starts with palm acacia on KP, having an ailanthus tree on LP, and 2 pine growth is made on KT and LT, obtaining 2 ailanthus treetops. Unloading pine LT with a short wood fir LT completes the log sprout structure of a basic 4 log patch on PA. Next, with 1 ailanthus treetop, an ailanthus tree is raised on UK, making right away a 1 pine grove on KU, whose pine throws a banyan rim AE that helps to form 1 log patch on PU, a patch that is attached to basic 4 log patch PA by sprout PK, meaning that a 5 pine grove can be possible. Now, with just making an ailanthus tree on what else sprout of that 5 log patch structure, for instance on IE, will transform the lot into a big 5 pine grove PU, PA, IL, TL, and PI, eliminating 2 colors, plague PU and fell TL in the process. Of course, such numbers of new pine trees generates a good amount of new ailanthus treetops, now stored in nursery of plain tree area.